What's up YouTube? This is going to be a guide on how to use Goodra in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these, they help you out, drop a like on the video and let's get into it. So I've already done Goodra Hizuale, so I thought I'd do the normal Goodra. So looking at Goodra, its stats, it's primarily a bulky special attacker. However, it still has 100 in attack, which means it can run a good physical set too. So I'm going to go over all of that. We've got the abilities here, Sap Sipper, Hydration, and Gooey. All of them are really good abilities actually, and can all work on different styles of sets and teams. So I'll go over what works best with what too. All right, our first set here we've got is primarily going to be a bulky special attacker. All right, so I like how it's got such a big special defensive stat, and I feel like Assault Vest can work well on there too, because it's just great for swapping into like special attacking moves and tanking them very, very easily and doing lots of damage. So it does learn quite a lot of powerful special attacking moves like Draco Meteor. It also gets Dragon Pulse as well, so if you don't like the drop of the special attack, you can do that too. So you can sort of like go back and use Dragon Pulse instead. That's an option too. It does hit a lot weaker though. That's the only thing. And with Goodra with Assault Vest, you'll find you'll probably be able to swap it in and out a lot too. So Draco Meteor isn't all that bad on there at all. Fire Blast is a very good move to hit Steel type Pokemon that can come into Dragon types like Goldengo, or if you're playing like with lesser used Pokemon, say like a Bronzong, that could work really nicely too. Sludge Bomb is also very good for Fairy type Pokemon. It does get Sludge Wave too. Sludge Bomb's better for landing a poison. It's got a higher percentage chance there with 5 less base power. So that's an option. You could have Bomb or Wave. I've got Acid Spray in there. I know I'm doubling up with a poison type move, but it actually isn't all that bad because it works well in with Draco Meteor too. So you could then get rid of Sludge Bomb and give it another special attacking move too. Or you could even give it like more of a supporty style move like Knockoff on there, or Dragon Tail, you know. So there are a few options there, and Acid Spray sort of opens that up too. So that's another way of running Goodra. EV spread here, we got a special attack and speed, timid nature. It actually gets, you know, okay speed at 80, and it's going to be hitting pretty hard. If you're not really worried about speed at all, you can just completely scrap the speed altogether and give it health. And then you could give it like, say, modest. And that's going to be hitting a lot harder, like really, really hard. You could run it under Trick Room too if you were to give it quiet nature. That would definitely be pretty good under Trick Room there. It's got a lot of natural bulk, and then you're going to be hitting really, really hard too. Obviously, you change its move setup, then you wouldn't have Dragon Tail and stuff on there. You'd probably put its most highest offensive moves on there, like Sludge Bomb, Fire Blast, Draco Meteor is pretty good. So, you know, that would work very, very nice. You could put instead of Fire Blast, you could put Flamethrower on there too. I just like Fire Blast because you're making most of that big special attack stat, but that's kind of up to you what you want to put on there. There's quite a few options. You could also do, speaking of which, Terrors. I like Terra Poison on there. Quite like that one for any Fairy type moves aimed at you. So you could do that. That's an option. I don't think it gets. No, it doesn't get that. I was like, it doesn't get Flash Gun. So Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Draco Meteor is pretty good. If you don't want to lock yourself into Assault Vest, or you're playing like, you could put Leftovers on there. That's going to work too very nicely. If you're doing more of a speedy build on there as well, I forgot to mention, and you're playing singles, you could put heavy duty boots on there as well. That could work. If you're after like a specific speedy build and you're not running Trick Room, I just wanted to mention that you could put that item on there. That's not too bad. And with Sap Sipper, you can couple it with a Pokemon who's 4 times weak to grass or weak to grass. It works as a very good bait and swap. It works better on a physical set, or you can put Gooey on there as well. Gooey's quite good because any contacting moves have the speed drop too. So that can work well if you've got, like, say, a Stealth Rocks user on your team. Because they're going to be forced to swap out or get outspeed. Because its speed isn't really all that good, but after one Gooey, you're going to be able to outspeed them. So that's another good way of, of running it too. Or you could, any entry hazard Pokemon would work well, with that. So some other Terra suggestions here. So I did suggest Poison. Fairy's always a good one there too. I would say Fairy's pretty nice. You could have Terra Blast on there too. You have Terra Blast Fairy, that'll give you a Fairy type move. So against other Dragon type Pokemon, that'd be pretty nice. So say if you got even an opposing Goodra came in, then they're going to use Draco Meteor. It's going to fail. You're going to go for a Terra Blast Fairy and clap their cheeks, right? So that's going to be a pretty nice one. And you also you also still have a Poison type move there too. So I would say this set here is probably the best sort of offensive coverage set out of all of them. That would be my opinion with Fairy. And you've got a very good Terra too. You could opt for Terra Dragon, but then for a really, really powerful Draco Meteor, obviously you'd change Terra Blast up then to another coverage move. I mean, Acid Spray isn't all that bad. It really isn't. Like, even if you had like another Poison move on there, it actually isn't all that bad. So you've got that. I probably wouldn't run them both on the same set though. That would be my sort of thing there. I'd run something different. I'd try and put something different on there. But as I said before, I quite like the Terra Blast one with Fairy. I like that. It's good coverage. So that would be my pick for the best set there. It sort of depends what you want on your team too. So that'd be very good. If you wanted to incorporate this into doubles, which you could, put a jetpack on there, and that way you eject out after the Draco Meteor then, and that'll give you momentum on your team, and you'll be able to work it in with abilities and like Intimidate and moves like U-Turn and Parting Shot, right? If you really want to use this in doubles, and that would work well. Another thing you could change though for doubles, you could opt for Sludge Wave if you wanted to. That could be an option there, but just gotta sort of think about how it's going to get powered down and stuff too. So maybe keeping Sludge Wave and that could be a good thing too. So yeah, that's sort of our first set. Now I do want to mention a physical set for Goodra because most people like to run the special set and stuff like that, which is fair, but it can actually be a good physical user. So this is the Pip Knight special here. It's a little bit gimmicky, but I had some good success with it, especially when I incorporate it with a Pokemon that is weak to grass, because you get that attack rise of one stage, and this set actually gives you another attack rise with Curse. It actually gets Curse. But we don't want to drop our speed. We want to get the attack boost. So that's why I've got White Herb on there too. So you also take less knockoff damage too, which is good. And obviously, you won't give up an item and stuff like that either if you were trick something. So we've got like Curse, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Power Whip. So Dragon Claw for Dragon Stab, Earthquake for any Steel type Pokemon, and just like coverage. And then you got Power Whip as well. So Power Whip is a high base power grass move. So it's good on like really annoying bulky water Pokemon. Say Swampert, perfect. Completely dominate that. Dondozo, you actually might be able to do some damage. I'm not saying you're going to be able to feint it, but it's going to do some good damage there. Like bulky water, like Suicune, bulky water Pokemon that could, normally come in and cause you a lot of problems. So that's just probably the best coverage you could have on there. I gave this one Terra Ground. Now, the reason why I did that is you can try and bait out a grass move used against you, right? So you'd go Terra Ground. Well, you've only got X amount of weaknesses then, right? So it's either going to be a water move. If it's a water type Pokemon, you can use Power Whip against them, right? So hopefully that would try and bait out a grass type move. Alternatively, you could do water as well. So you could go water. So that could be another, another thing too. That might be better because if an electric type comes in, we can use Earthquake against them. Grass type comes in, they're going to boost your attack. So water could be definitely a good one on there too. Just some suggestions. Unfortunately, it doesn't get... It'd be nice if it got Dragon Dance. Sorry, I can't spell. Dragon Dance, but it doesn't get Dragon Dance. That would be a good upgrade, so people might use physical Goodra then. Another option you can run on there, I've written it in the title, is Choice Band. So Choice Band can be quite useful on there too. Probably give it Knockoff. So we've got stuff like Knockoff, Dragon Claw. They're very, very high base power moves. Now, it does get Outrage, but obviously the thing about Outrage is you're locking yourself in. So you really want to make sure you've got rid of all the Fairy type and Steel type Pokemon, else you'll just become setup fodder. So that's why I suggest Dragon Claw on there. So that could be another option. Knockoff's not bad with Choice Band as well. And Sap Zipper is fine. Or you could do Terra Blast. Terra Blast too, so you could have a Terra Blast Water. That could be useful too. You got pretty good coverage then. You've got a Water move, a Dragon move, a Ground move, and a Grass move. Not bad, right? So that's another way of running it outside of the typical special bulky set or speedy bulky set kind of thing. So you might be able to get some good surprise with this. Ability-wise, I'd probably keep Sap Zipper because that benefits getting an attack boost. All right, let's have a look at some double sets here, specific double sets. All right, well, we've got this set. I've tried this set a couple of times. It's actually not too bad. So we've got Life Dew, Acid Armor, and Body Press. Yes, it can work as a good Body Press set. And it can work in doubles as well as a good Body Press set too. In singles, sorry. If you wanted to use it in singles, just get rid of Life Dew and give it Rest and give it Chesto Berry, right? Acid Armor, Body Press, and Scummy Water or Muddy Water. We've got Sap Zipper there. Sap Zipper is just good for grass immunity. You don't necessarily need it to boost your attack. If you wanted to run it in the rain, on a rain team, what you do is you go Hydration, and then you just put Rest on there, right? And that way you could just keep resting off and healing yourself off and boosting your Acid Armor defense and then spamming Body Press. And, in the rain, that would boost up the power of Muddy Water, and that would also benefit you because you could heal off any status, i.e. using Rest, right? So that would be really good. And you could do Terra Water on that. You could try Terra Fighting if you wanted to. Sap Zipper's quite good if you have Terra Water though, but then you're giving up Rest. You sort of had to decide, do I want to heal off all my status? If yes, maybe I don't need Terra Water on there then. Maybe I need Terra Fighting to boost up, the power of Body Press there. So that's sort of up to you what you want on your team. EVs, of course, max health and max defense because you want to do a lot of damage with, Body Press, and it's naturally 150 base there. So you've got a lot of special defense. I gave it Citrus Berry there. That's a pretty good item on there. You could run Leftovers on there. I like Citrus Berry on this sort of set though because it gives you an immediate boost in health, which is good while you're setting up. It's good early. It's good earlier on, not so good later on. Leftovers is probably a bit better later on. If you're doing in doubles, you might want Covert Cloak on there so you don't get flinched into oblivion. That's an option you can have there too. So there we go. Not a bad set at all, I don't think, especially in the rain, and you could run that alongside something like Pelipper, right? If you felt you wanted massive special defense on there and you wanted Acid Armor to build up the defense, you could do that too, but there will be a big difference in the amount of base, power you do. Damage, you especially getting rid of all the EVs there. You'll be more special defensive, but might not be, hitting so hard. Pokemon that could really counter this would be Flutter Mane too, especially if, you can't really do much for outside of Muddy Water. So if you were to run this, have a good Flutter Mane counter on your team. I've done a video on Flutter Mane. I've done all the counters there. You can check it out. All right, let's check out our next set here. All right, I wanted to do more of a hyper offensive set in the rain as well, and got this one here. It's a bit different than the other set. So we've got Surf and Thunder. So we've got Terra Water Surf and Thunder and Sludge Wave. So we've got all the spread moves, and we got Rest to heal off completely. and covert collect. Actually kind of similar to the other set, but this one is just not using body press, it's using high special attacking moves. So health and special attack this time, modest. Or you could do no speed and quiet and run it under Trick Room too. So there are a couple of options. It can run under Trick Room. Definitely, that could, I'd say that could definitely work. It's only got 80 speed, 80 base speed, so it can work. And you could do something like, maybe you could put room service on there too if you were to run it under Trick Room, because that would make it a lot slower then too. And definitely you'd be really, really slow under the Trick Room. That could work. That's another option that could go for there. I'm trying to think of any other terrors that work well. You could do like Terror Electric if you want to power up your Thunder a bit more, but Surf could be useful there as well. So either one of those, or Poison. Poison could be good. If you wanted to hit a single target, you could just do Sludge Bomb too. So sort of up to you, because it does get powered down. So just some options there. Ice Beam's not a bad other one as well to run on there. And you probably notice I haven't put any Dragon type moves on there. You could put a Dragon type move on there quite easily, like Dragon Pulse and stuff. I didn't put a Fire move on there because we're running this one in the rain. If we weren't to put one in the rain, you could do something like this: Flamethrower. Let's say Draco Meteor. Eject button. I'm just making this up on the spot. Eject pack, not eject button. And I'd put something like probably Ice Beam on there. That wouldn't be too bad. If you don't want Sludge Bomb on there, you could put something, a support style move, like maybe Mud Shot. Mud Shot's not bad at dropping speed there. So say a fast special attacker or physical attacker, you could use that as sort of a support style move. And then outspeed them afterwards, or you could put Sludge Bomb in there. That would be fine, but I'd still run the same sort of EVs there. Or you could go speed and attack. It's not that slow a Pokemon, but it's not super, super fast either. So that's why I sort of suggested you could run under Trick Room. But something like that could work for sure. Or you could just put Protect on there. That would also be useful too. So Protect instead of Mud Shot. That would be interesting for sure. And then Terra. Poison's not bad at all. Is it like a defensive one? Or you could go Terra Dragon just to do lots of damage there with Draco Meteor, then dip out, And you could even put Modest on there if you just want loads and loads of damage. So that's another way you can run Goodra. Next set here is kind of similar. The one I already explained already. It's like an Acid Armor Body Press set. It's an Acid Spray. So instead of just relying on Body Press, this time you're also relying on Acid Spray to do special damage too. And you've got Rest and Hydration and Terra Fighting. And also Rocky Helmet too for some extra damage. I feel like Rocky Helmet's a good item on Goodra as well in singles or doubles. So this one I've gone like full special defensive. So this one's more, I'd say definitely more of a single set. So health and special defense, calm nature. And then we've got just loading everything in defense with acid armor, and then acid spray is dropping special, the special attack too. I suppose special defense, and then you can keep using it as an attacking move then. And after -6, acid spray will be hitting pretty hard, especially against maybe a fairy type Pokemon that can't get through all your boosts there, or big special defense. So just another way to run that there. Obviously something like Pelipper would be useful to set the rain up, or Kyogre, whatever you're using. Of course, we're going to finish some of these builds off with a Piplup special set. Here we go. It's absolute beautiful. So I was looking through Goodra's set and I'm like, wow, it gets a lot of tail moves here, right? So we've got Aqua Tail, Dragon Tail, Poison Tail, and Life Dew. So you can get all those tail moves off there. You got Stellar as well to get the boost from each type of move. You got Health in the attack, and Adam and Nature as well. And you've got Gooey to drop the speed. And then you've got a lagging tail too. So, if they want to try and get rid of your item, you're going to give them a nice surprise there, which is going to be, super, bad or detrimental if they do grab that item. But obviously a very, very gimmicky set. I call this my my Goodra Tail set because it learns so many. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually. I don't think it learns. No, it doesn't get Iron Tail. Otherwise, I would have given it another tail move. If it had it. But there you go. You got to try this set out. It's super broken, obviously. Let's have a look at some partners now for Goodra and some Pokemon that could work, well with it. So anything that I would say for Trick Room, you could have Indeedee. If you were to use Indeedee for Trick Room, that would be a good partner. Absolutely. That works for a lot of Pokemon, really. It's like a top pick there for Trick Room. So if you wanted that slower, bulky set, that would be useful. So I've looked at some fairy Pokemon. I think there'd be quite a few that could work well with it. Those like bulky setup sets, you could work with Clefable and like a follow me strategy as well. I have done a Clefable guide already, so more on that if you want to check it out. You could definitely use that if you were to do like those bulky setup sets. That could work well as a partner. Also, anything with, I think Sylveon would be pretty good too. Sylveon wouldn't be a bad partner. That would be pretty good. Another good partner, I think Weezing wouldn't be bad either. Galar Weezing wouldn't be too bad. Just getting rid of those fairy-type Pokemon, which would be pretty good. It'll also have access to neutralizing gas too. I actually need to do a Weezing Galar guide. I haven't done one of those yet, but that would make a good partner. More for like doubles, I would say. Definitely more for doubles. Thinking of some good Steel-type Pokemon here as well. So you've got Corviknight and Goldengo, especially Goldengo. That would be really good. That's a good partner. And Corviknight too. I'd say Corviknight more for singles. So like you got that Goodra and that Corviknight kind of core there. That would be really quite good. Nasty. One's quite defensive. And one's very special defensive. And then you got Goldengo for singles as well, still works well, and doubles too. So I say Goldengo would be definitely a good partner there. For countering Goodra, it's not really that hard to counter. Any just special, I'm going to say something like bulky special defensive wall. Let's say Porygon 2, right, with Everlight. I've done a Porygon 2 guide if you want to check it out. Any bulky Pokemon are going to struggle that have recovery, like Porygon, Umbreon. They're going to get countered for sure. And they'll just toxic stall you and stuff like that. More hyper-specific ones, like steel types. I was thinking Bronzong with heat proof might cause Goodra some problems as well. Might be able to tank those fire moves a lot better. And any bulky setup sweepers too would be good. Say Snorlax or something like that. That would be very bad to Goodra too, because it can tank them. It can tank its special moves very, very easily, and then reverse sweep. So any bulky setup users will be able to shut that down too, because it doesn't do like tons and tons of damage. Mimikyu's a good counter. Mimikyu, being a fairy type and its ability, that's a very good counter. Plus, it can just set up against Goodra, and it can cause a lot of damage to your team. Done a Mimikyu guide if you want to check that out. They're pretty good. Cresselia, or just real tanks. I'm trying to think it would be very, very big problems. They could just set, Carmine and Moonlight and stuff like that would be very, very bad for Goodra. Let's go quickly through its moves here. I like to always go through all its moves. Once again, I've done a Goodra Hisuian guide already. You can check that out. So I like to cover all Pokemon. So its status moves are pretty limited, but it does get some good ones. We got Acid Armor in over that. It does get Curse. Now, you could opt to try and do a bulky Curse set. I'm going to build one right now. Something like this. This is going to be better for singles. So say if you have, you might be able to run it in doubles, but it's going to be difficult because you've got two Pokemon to deal with instead of one. And this works well with like Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. So you got like Curse, Dragon Tail, like Rest on there, and then you could have Chesto Berry. And you could have Sap Sipper on there too. And then you have something like that you could just use, like you could have, let's do it right now. Like Body Press, like something like that. that would just be a pain in the backside to get around. Make it very special defensive. Yeah, and then you could have Terrace. I would have like Terra. You got Terra Poison or Terra Steel probably be your best options there, because you wouldn't be able to get I would go Terra Steel. So Terra Steel. So that's an option, just a singles option, and couple it with like a Stealth Rock's Toxic Spikes, Pokemon Spikes. It's going to be annoying to get around. Alternatively, you could do Hydration, and you could have like Rain Dance on there and like Damp Rock, but this is a bit more gimmicky, and it might be better if you set it up with your own like Pelipper or something, or Kyogre, but just another sort of option there. It'll be a real pain though, those bulky sets. But you can do something like that for Goodra. Where were we? We're having a look at its status moves. Rest, Sleep, Talk. Yeah, you could do that as well. You could try Rest, Sleep, Talk. It does get Hydration though. Dragon Cheer is an option, as well as we talked about Life Dew as well. So those like more of these like tanky sets you could use. You could have that on there instead of Acid Armor sort of set. You could have Life Dew on there as well, and you can even have, like, Tearful Look isn't all that bad either. It's not all that bad. That could be a good status move to dropping the attack and special attack. And you've got Life Dew on there. And Dragon Cheer could be good against, like, if, say, you have Miraidon, you could use Dragon Cheer on the Miraidon and make, like, a tanky defensive set, or just a bulky, defensive set. And that would work very, very well. And you could have other moves like Life Dew and stuff like that. That could work very well for Miraidon. Very common Pokemon. Let's have a look at its special moves. So it's got a lot, as you can imagine, it's got tons of special moves. It's got some good special moves. It's got very, very good coverage, this Pokemon. So we've got Blizzard, which could work well with like Alola Ninetales. Draco Meter, you could work there well with a Jetpack. Choice Specs, maybe. Gets Fire Blast, great coverage there. We've sort of gone over a lot of these. It even gets Hydro Pump if you want to run it in the rain, you know. Terra Water Hydro Pump. Does get Scald, so you might be able to put Scald on there for some burns. I think it gets Chilling Water. Yeah, it gets Chilling Water as well, so that could be good. And Muddy Water, so they're pretty good support style moves there. And you also get, Thunderbolt, and it does get Weather Ball too, which is interesting. For some reason it gets Absorb. It doesn't get Giddy Rain, but it gets Absorb. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I sort of went over all those ones already. As for physical, don't count the physical set out. It's not too bad. Like I said, it does get Dragon Claw and it gets Earthquake, which isn't that bad a coverage. It also gets Elemental Punch too, Fire Punch and Thunder Punch. I don't think it gets Ice Punch though. No, it doesn't get Ice Punch. It doesn't have any physical poison moves outside of Poison Tail, which is, a bit too weak. It gets Stomping Tantrum too. You might be able to make up some sort of set that you fail a move and then use that, but probably better just using Earthquake. Yeah, and does get Rock Slide too, which might be good for doubles. You have to have a lot of speed, so maybe Gooey and Rock Slide or some sort of tech like that. But anyway, that's going to be about it for Goodra. Goodra is a pretty good Pokemon, pun the pun there. Very nice special defensive Pokemon, great bulk, a good special attacker, and can serve as a good physical attacker as well, as I just shown there. That's about it. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like there. If you've got any more suggestions, leave them below. If you want to see me do a certain Pokemon, put it below there. Check the playlist out. I've done hundreds of Pokemon already. And that's about it. Peace out.